So you said your kid had night terrors as well?
It was horrible.
What would baby?
Yeah.
Like as a baby, so what would happen? How do you know?
He would scream because when I put him like in my arms, I would hug my kid. It wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah.
So it's like he wasn't listening to me.
Yeah.
So he would scream and scream and scream like crazy. And there's nothing I could do. I just have to wait.
Yeah.
And it took me time to say, oh, this is not a nightmare. Because if you're in a nightmare, you wake up and it's okay. So it was horrible.
So you screamed, were his eyes closed?
How old were you talking?
No. He was looking at me.
Uh-huh.
God.
I'm pretty sure, like in the past, people think that's the devil, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
they would-
Yeah.
think that
There's
they were-
nothing you can do. You could talk to the kid. The kid's looking at you like, screaming and looking at you like you hug him. He doesn't let you hug him.
And he grew out of it? It
yeah,
went away?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That must have been tough when
Maybe he was possessed.
Maybe he was.
Sure.
Maybe the devil just was
Imagine
like.
back in the day, they bring this fucking crazy baby to a priest, and he's like, "Oh Jesus, what do you want me to do?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
see-
I imagine what's hard about that, too, is that you're like, it didn't happen every night.
No, he didn't.
So you're like, if you have that problem, you're like, no, trust me, he goes crazy sometimes. Like a parent, like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's, you got to catch him on the right night, you know?
But can you imagine, like, before the medicine discovered all of that, can you imagine how challenging it was? Like, for a lot of different things that now are pretty easy to solve.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine before people discovered the C-section?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait,
I think
but
all
is
the
there
time-
medicine for night terrors for children?
No, there's no medicine, but
Oh.
people know it's a night terror, so you know you just
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because in the past you see a kid screaming and think, oh, he's dying.
Yeah.
I thought about that when my dad had open heart surgery, and they move an artery from the leg to the heart, and I just think about the leg is definitely not the first place they went. First, they tried the shoulder, they died.
Yeah.
They tried the eyeball, they're blind, and then they
Anything
died.
really close to, like, closer to the heart, they probably tried. They
Yeah.
worked their way down.
You know, it's during Nazism, they did a lot of like crazy research
Sure.
with Jewish people's bodies.
Sure.
And there's a huge discussion if we are able to use those discoveries, you know, because it's completely like illegal.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a huge discussion in the medical community. If like they were test how much you can get burned before you die.
Oh my
Those little
God.
things, you know, they would test like they would try to put an arm from a guy to another guy's arm. They would do like all of those crazy researches. So there was for a long time there was a discussion in the medical community if they could use those data.
What if
Sure, you don't want your
Nazis
research-
had discovered the cure for all cancers, and we're like, we can't use it. No, Ooh, we're in a real bind here.
Because they have to, like, with a research paper, like, well, this was proven by
Yeah,
Adolf Hitler.
he was the head doctor doing all these
yeah.
experiments.
I feel like that's a perfect to get into our music. This is The Downside.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The Downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.
Welcome everyone to The Downside. This is a show where we celebrate the negatives. We let ourselves complain. We let ourselves talk about the sad things like the medical miracles discovered
During the Holocaust.
during the Holocaust. My name is Gianmarco Soresi. I'm here with my co-host
Russell Daniels.
and we are joined today by stand-up comedian, actor, writer, director Rafi Bastos.
Thanks for inviting me, guys. I'm
Thanks
very
for
happy
coming.
to be here with you.
It's very nice. We met during the outdoor stand-up New York shows during the COVID.
It was before I never did the outdoors.
You never did the outdoors?
No, because I was in Brazil. My visa, I wasn't allowed to be here during the pandemic. We met on Gotham on those Friday night shows that Millhouse used to do. Remember?
Yes,
in the
yes.
second room.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching you with my wife, and the show was kind of difficult, but we were like, oh, look at this guy. He's pretty good, right? She was like, yeah, he's pretty funny. So
I do remember that now. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
When COVID started,
I do remember when I was funny.
When I was
Yes,
funny.
I do.
I do
That
remember.
day, I remember.
I do remember being funny that day.
when COVID started, you were in Brazil, like in March.
I was here.
You were here, and then what happened? When did they say you got to get the fuck out?
I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to go back home because they were like shutting down airports.
Yeah.
And I have a kid in Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, I cannot spend what I was thinking like 6 months without seeing my kid. But then it became 2 years.
Yeah. How long were you
Yeah.
gone for?
I was there for 2 years. And they were closed for every visa but green cards. And after a while, they started to open for tourism, but I have a work visa. So for 2 years, I wasn't able to come back. I was stuck in Brazil doing shows in Portuguese, working.
Yeah.
But
You were doing your club was still open then.
Yeah. I closed my club at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, as soon as it reached Brazil, I was like, yeah, we are going to have to shut down, like with 25 employees paying every month. So you're like, that's not going to work. So we shut down the club.
So just, because I know, or I'll say stand-up comedy is pretty new in Brazil. You kind of paved the way.
It is pretty new. We started in 2004, 2003, 2004.
Stand up, the art form started in
Yeah.
2004 in Brazil.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not a lot of English speakers in Brazil. So I think
Yeah.
and that's probably part of the reason why stand-up didn't spread as much. You said Seinfeld was like the first
The reference.
taste of it.
Yeah, that was the reference. When we went up on stage at the beginning, the way that we would explain to people what stand-up was, did you know the opening, like on Seinfeld episode, that he goes on stage and he said, this is what we are going to do right now. Wow. This is what the way that we had to explain it. But the thing is, we didn't have access to stand-up because this is not an art form that you export, that you used to export to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get music, we get movies, we get, even theater, but we don't get like stand-up before YouTube,
Sure.
which was the first, YouTube was born in 2005. So how could we watch stand-up?
Yeah.
There was no...
And it's just tougher to translate, especially Seinfeld. It would be tough to translate to a different language. How come you get in the train but on the bus?
Yes.
Like in Brazil, it's like, well, we don't use any of those words. So,
We don't have buses.
yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't have buses. Yeah, but it's difficult to translate. Yeah, Seinfeld is even to translate to this era, I think, also,
Sure.
So it's like those things change a lot. And for us, it was at the beginning, it was difficult because we couldn't watch anything. There was nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
So what happened was, in 1999, I came here to America I got a scholarship to play basketball.
Basketball. And where were you living?
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Wow. Which part? Lincoln?
No, it was in a small city close to Wyoming. It was like a 3,000 people city. It was like a small city.
And you're 6'7", is that right?
6'6", 6'7".
6'6". I mean, that's not for basketball. That's not crazy.
No.
Were you the scholarship to play like at a college?
Yes, NCAA Division II.
And did you think at that moment that you could be in the NBA?
My friend, yeah.
Yeah.
You think.
Yeah.
You can think. But of course, I was very far away from the NBA.
When you went to America,
I wasn't that good.
Well, was it a shock when you got to America? You're like, oh fuck, people are really good here.
People are very athletic here.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I wouldn't say crazy good because you can see the foreigners. They're pretty good. That we have like 100 foreigner basketball players. So I used to play with those. But like this guy, like jumping like above the rim and
above the rim.
Yeah, that's too much. That's something that it's America,
How did they find you? How did Nebraska find you in Brazil?
Nobody ever asked me that. That's a good question. So, how can they find? I sent VHS tapes to 12 colleges here in America. But I was like, I'm gonna send to Division II because Division I is like the next step is the NBA. I don't think I'm that good.
Yeah.
So I sent to a few Division II schools, and I did a little tour in America visiting those schools. They have like a system that you can go to a school and spend 2 days with them, and they put you in their dorms. It's a whole system that they have when they want to bring in a student. You can stay for 2 days. It's the law. You cannot stay more, but you can visit the school, and I practice with the team to see how good I was. So I had a few to choose, and I chose the one in the middle of the country. I was like, I want to learn English. I want to be like outside of all speaking Spanish-speaking people. I really wanted to speak English, so that's why I chose Nebraska.
What goes on the tape? Is it you playing basketball with others, or is it you like on a court by yourself?
Yeah, me doing this with the ball. Like me for 30 minutes.
So it's like game footage.
It's
right?
game footage and me just like shooting and doing a few drills and
Yeah, it just seems hard to assess anything. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I could put up a highlights reel,
pretty good.
just me from like the half court shot, and the one time I make it like backwards.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I put some footage of me on the court too.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
But that was crazy because I couldn't speak English when I got here, and it was very difficult to get instructions on the court. It was horrible. It was horrible. And also, I was 22 years old.
Oh, you're a little older.
I was older. Here's the thing with the sports. If you are in college everywhere in the world, a clock starts to count, and you have 5 years to play.
Yeah.
So the big problem was not basketball itself, because I was doing pretty well. I would have a little bit of a college career here. I didn't play the whole 4 years, but I told them that I never went to college, but I was already graduated. I was graduated in journalism.
Oh.
I couldn't say this to them because if they found out that I was in college, the clock would start to count like 5 years prior, and I wouldn't be able to play.
Oh.
So I gave them my high school transcripts.
They knew how old you were, though.
They knew.
They knew. But just because you hadn't gone to college, they said, okay.
Okay.
Wow.
I told them I'm from a third world country. I had to work for 4 years, 5 years. I wasn't able to go to school. They were like, oh, so that works. So that's
Is Brazil a third world country?
Did you play
I don't think
basketball
we use
in
those
college?
expressions anymore, but yeah, it
Sure.
is. It's
America came up with that to
it's a
label
poor-
others.
It's a poor country.
Did you play basketball in college in Brazil? When
No,
you were you
there's
just
no
journalism?
college
okay.
basketball.
Got it.
Outside of America, sports are connected to clubs
Yeah.
and teams more than school and high school, and there's not that big of a connection between sports and learning.
I got to say, that feels correct.
Yeah.
The attachment between sports and learning feels strange.
Yeah.
I think it's strange when a college is just like to beef up their football team, they let in someone that they wouldn't let in other. It's just a strange mix of priorities.
But also, it's a good opportunity that a lot of people have to go to school. You know,
Absolutely.
like getting scholarships. That some people wouldn't
Sure.
be able to pay for those schools.
Yeah.
But these schools, I think there's been a lot of lawsuits recently with the NCAA where these kids don't make money.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
NCAA
Oh, yeah,
is
that's a-
making insane,
College is making lots of money. The
insane
NCAA is
piles of
making a lot
money.
Yeah.
So you know what they're doing right now? They are getting those athletes and treat them as influencers.
Yeah.
So business around the school, they give money to them to do like a post or something.
Yeah.
That's the way they have to actually give them
trade-off.
money without paying them to play basketball.
Sure.
It's crazy. Yeah, but yeah, it's very unfair. Like schools are getting like millions and millions of dollars, and those athletes, they're getting hurt. Some of them are getting hurt like for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
I think the one I read, if I have it correct, it was like someone sued because their likeness was used in a video game and they didn't get any money from this multi. And they're like, well, if you mix money with the sports, the athletes won't be in it for the love of the game. And I go, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck
You're
up,
not
coach.
in it for the
yeah,
love
coach, you're not
of
getting paid.
coaching or the love of teaching colleges.
Fuck
you.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So you tell us. I don't know anything about Brazil. What are the downsides of Brazil?
The downsides, well, it's a poor country. It's a very violent country. Okay, it's like there's a lot of violence because
Is it tied to
Did you grow
drugs?
up like
Is it tied
around
to
that? Like Was that part of
you
your?
do. It was not part of my. I was always a middle class kid. My father is a doctor, but being a doctor in Brazil doesn't mean that you have like money or anything else. He was working in a public hospital, so I was a middle class kid. I studied in a private, like the lowest private school class, like the first level of a private school. But I had a chance to. The fact that I was born in a country like Brazil, I think, bring me like a perspective of the world that I really enjoy. The fact that I was born there. It's a country with a lot of nice people. People hug, people kiss, people are loving, friendly.
Let's talk about kiss, because I talk about kissing. Like who kisses? Do guys kiss each other? Hello, kiss on the cheek.
If I'm very good friends with you, I kiss you in the cheek.
Yeah.
I can kiss you, and I don't have to.
Yeah.
It's not something that every time you see someone. But if
It'd be fun if you had
you
to.
have to, you have to. I'm sorry.
We've never.
Leave my house. You never.
We have to.
You didn't kiss me.
My friend Chris and I, we kiss. We're Italian, so it feels a little natural. I don't think we've ever kissed. You never kissed my cheek.
I can start. I'm open to it.
Okay, we'll try it for the Patreon.
Not every day, but like when we're like,
When things are good or bad or.
Yeah.
I love
read
kiss.
into
I love
it.
a good kiss.
I know. Yeah.
Do you kiss your dad?
I kiss my dad. Yeah. I
Cheek
kiss my-
or a lip peck?
No. no.
My dad and I would do a lip peck.
Yeah, I saw you
Italian.
talking on stage.
Yeah, but like we do. I was just visiting him. It's
You
funny.
still do?
Oh yeah. It feels so natural to me. Like if I step back,
Okay,
I
but
can
it's
be
not
like,
even.
ew.
I'm pretty sure it's not even natural in Italy.
You think in Italy they'd be like,
Ask some Italian people, because I think that's something that your father told you.
oh
this is
no.
this
If an
is-
Italian said to me like, ew, what the fuck is that? That's not Italian. I've been walking around saying, I'm Italian.
Yeah, and they're like,
I make
no.
out with my father. It's Italian.
You're like, no.
No, it's I just saw him for Thanksgiving, and it's like it's more natural than my mom's less physically intimate. So
Oh,
like
yeah?
my mom and I, we probably do a peck on the lips once in a while, but it's not this. My dad, it's like flows like.
But do you
water.
kiss your friends?
No, I would more. I would more. I think there's like, I think with guys I'll do a peck on the cheek. Sometimes not even touching the cheek.
Yeah.
With women, I feel like it's a whole ball game of like I am so anxious to not make any woman feel uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah, that's.
But I think if I didn't have that, I would do a lot more cheek kisses. I would never kiss a woman friend. If Tova saw me kiss any woman on the cheek, my girlfriend, I'd be in trouble. I'd be in trouble. Head kiss for sure.
What is a head kiss?
Head kiss.
You know, like Jessica, I've probably a hug and a kiss on the head.
You think your girlfriend would be jealous?
No, a head kiss would be okay. I just think she'd just be
What
like,
is a head kiss?
like, come here, Russell.
What's or you get head or you get kissed.
No,
You
he's
cannot-
saying
No,
like if you
if
hug
I
and then
was
he
like
did
hugging,
this.
I was like, I love you, buddy.
Oh,
Like
on the
that's
hair.
bad.
On the hair.
no, I just like I don't. I do that with probably. I probably do that with a
contact HR,
couple
by the way.
female.
What's up?
I said I'm going to contact HR, by the
Paige,
way.
you're gonna call Paige.
Paige.
Hey, we got it on
Producer
tape
Paige.
from two different
We got
angles.
it. Finally, I was brought here just for
Just
this
to make
image.
make him watch us.
Oh, I'm getting 20% of this lawsuit.
Um,
But we look at kissing. Here is the thing that is very uncomfortable for me here.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. The uncomfortability of what do I do if I see a woman or a guy? Because my first instinct when someone introduced me to a woman is always kiss her on the cheek. That's what we do. On my state, we do 3 kisses. 1, 2, 3.
now, are the lips in the air or are they touching the cheek?
No, usually you don't put your mouth in their cheek.
but if it happened, it wouldn't
If it
be like
happened, not a problem.
Yeah.
Here you shake woman's hand like you're closing a deal. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, if I tried to, you have to be pretty close with a woman to do a side kiss cheek. Lindsay and I feel like we're friendly enough that we might do a hug with a kiss in the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so in Brazil you kiss on the cheek. You do 3, and is it a
On
long
my
intro?
state, we do 3. Usually, you do 2. 1 and 2. That's what you do with a woman. With a guy, you hug. I don't see hugs here. I don't see hugs.
Again, I think like it changed. Like I like hugs.
I feel we hug, and I think in general, I've had another male friend who was shocked at how affectionate our group of male friends from Uncle Function were.
What'd they say?
Well, they were just like, I thought you guys were doing a bit and how nice you are to each other, and
That's men.
being
Men
like,
see men being nice to each other. Go like, what's
and
the joke?
And like hugging and like kissing, being very affectionate in terms of like when, and they were like, I didn't they had never seen people be that. Men.
We're also actors. Like my mom saw me. This is pre-Tova, but there was a friend of ours. I think I can say it because he was in Titanic. Ken was in Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
And his wife, we went to theater school together.
Okay.
We were 4 years of weird exercises and massaging and all things. And she saw me give her a hug. And my mom was like, are you out of your fucking mind? What? Her husband was right there. Like it was just like a long, hug.
Are you out of your fucking
and my mom was like, "You're gonna get killed. You're gonna get shot." By Ken. And I was like, we're theater people. We hug. Yeah. We need more physical. But there's a thing with hugging, especially I don't host much anymore, but like sometimes you hug when you see the host on stage. You do a little hug. Yeah. But I know from like women's accounts that like. And any woman with like big boobs, she goes through the world, and every guy seems to want to hug her.
I don't think so. Is
oh
it?
yes.
Oh, my friend,
I think,
sorry.
and I think there's a degree
I
of like
I don't know because I don't have a big boobs.
big boobs.
So maybe that's
Every guy is just like, oh, that's so weird. The principal hugged me, and the priest hugged me, and the rabbi hugged me, and so
maybe I'm being unfair. Okay, I don't know.
But there's a degree where it's just like I really have to see the body. I don't really go for the hug unless they're really volunteering it. Women on stage all the time. I mean, speaking for women in this moment, but they'll notice that the host will always put the hand on the back as they come on stage. There's just all sorts of things that some guys probably do it subconsciously, and but it's tough because I do feel like we should live in a more physically intimate world in general.
Yeah.
But it's men fuck it up.
Yeah.
You
Creepy
think
men
so?
fuck it up. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're given 10 kisses as they come on stage, and they're like, there's no culture that has 10.
In my country, we suck dicks. Like people are like, this is my country. This is Nigeria. You're like, I don't know. This is what we do.
So
Brazil,
it's poor. You grew up in an okay home.
It's poor. The thing with Brazil and a few other countries that there's the difference between the poor and the rich is too big. Middle class, we do have a middle class, but it's not that big. When the country is developing, the middle class is growing. We are living in a moment right now. The left is again in power because we had this right-wing guy for 4 years.
What was his name?
Bolsonaro.
And he was, this just recently happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried. It's so funny. I listen to so much news and I barely remember any of it. But Bolsonaro, he kept getting COVID. He wouldn't confirm if he was vaccinated or not. He was
coughing in his hand and shaking old people's hands.
Yes.
He was like, that was a whole thing. He was against the vaccine. He wasn't using masks. He was, until the last day in power, he was trying to convince people to use chloroquine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He bought so much chloroquine. He was telling people to go and fucking work, just leave the house. And people are like, no, we can't. That's...
Yeah.
And then this guy who is now president is the title?
Yeah.
He's now president. He was in jail for corruption briefly. Mm-hmm. And do you like this guy?
I like him.
You like when he went to jail?
Were
you
him.
like?
I don't. It's difficult, but I kind of like him. Yeah. We lived a few good years with this guy when he was our president. The whole corruption is not a creation; it really happened. to run the country, you have to kind of play the game. I'm not excusing the fact that he was corrupt and he did much more than he should. I think the party stole a lot of money, and I completely agree with that. But he is a guy that I feel thinks about the people. Okay, it's not economically. I think we are going to suffer the next few years because I think he's going to spend a lot of money helping the country to actually, try to come back. And the way they do it, it's like giving money to the poor hands. So it's not like it's a kind of a weird way to do it. But at the same time, it's the only guy that we had that actually thought about the people.
And he wants to conserve the rainforest because that was a big Bolsonaro thing. Bolsonaro said burn it to the ground.
One of his secretaries was a guy, like he was negotiating with the people burning the trees in the Amazon.
Does the rainforest, like, is that something like, Dave, did you ever go to a hiking spot of the rainforest?
Couldn't care less.
You couldn't care less.
I couldn't. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We have to preserve it.
It just sounds like one of those things like a bad guy would want to burn down. Do you know what I mean?
Burn down the rainforest.
You're like
it's almost like a cartoonish thing.
Yeah, it's a cartoonishly bad to be like rainforest burn down. I don't care, burn down. Like it just sounds so like, oh, why? Why? That seems like it's a bad idea.
Do people take trips to the rainforest?
Yeah. It's
and
beautiful.
you never went to see
but that's me.
a monkey.
But they always say like,
don't you want to see a monkey in the wild?
Maybe, but they always say that. I think the thing I always hear about the rainforest is like, could be. They've only explored like a 1% of what the rainforest
the
has.
Ocean?
I don't know.
1% of the rainforest?
No, but there's like a thing of like potential like medicinal things and that could be discovered that they don't know.
Yes.
And I feel like that's what they always say about the rainforest.
But that's me. I don't like to go to the beach. That's
Yeah.
So it's not.
Is there a big carnival that happens in Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
the
the
carnival.
one carnival. Yeah,
The carnival.
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of New Orleans. I go to
Because the way you
just
asked
went
me
to
is
Mardi
like,
Gras.
is it like big like it is in New Orleans?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's the one though.
Oh, yeah.
So when does that happen there?
It happened like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it the same time of year every year?
Yeah. Like February, March.
And is the whole country involved?
All stops.
Yeah.
We don't work.
All stops for how long?
During 4 days.
4 days.
4 days. We don't work.
The whole country?
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's what
we don't have stuff like that
No,
here where
we
the
don't.
whole
And
country stops.
That's where I was like,
Yeah.
when I went to Mardi Gras in New Orleans this last year, it's just one real day where
1 day?
everything
Oh,
stops.
okay.
I mean, it's a week of stuff happening, but in terms of like the whole city stopping, no one working except you're in the service industry. But I was like, even 1 day where the whole city stops was like, holy shit!
but
This is more people should do it. It's like it's such a communal thing that is so like you get to see your neighbors, you get to see people, you get to connect. It's like it's so communal, and it's crazy that more people don't.
Yeah.
More cities, countries, whatever.
It's good to have a
So,
long holiday.
Back to why Brazil is poor.
No.
Well, taking a 4-day carnival
but
vacation.
Also, people make like New Orleans makes a shit ton of money.
And we have 35 carnivals during the year. So
Yeah, but think about all the tourist money and stuff. People go to that to like
Sure.
to experience it. You make a lot of money in tourism.
you're the one talking good things about Brazil, and I'm the one cheating on Brazil. That's not fair. I'm gonna be murdered when people.
Well, no,
watch
I
this.
just have seen the things from it. It looks incredible.
It is.
looks like
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful party.
Yeah.
Everybody gets involved. Even kids. We have like this little kids party where people dress as like, I don't know, Indians, and they dress as like a
Wait, I'm sorry. India? What do you mean Indians? Like Native Americans, you mean?
No, not Americans, but native Brazilians.
Native Brazilians.
And they call them Indians?
Yeah.
In Brazil?
Yeah.
Wait, hold up. I have to learn. Wait, Native Brazilians.
Yes.
Why do they call them Indians? I thought the reason
We
that the
got it
term
wrong
Indian
here,
was
and we
used
told
was
everyone
because
to get it wrong.
Christopher Columbus thought that this was India,
Okay.
and that's the reason we got rid of it because we said you can't call people Indians for your mistake of they're Native Americans. It's called Indians.
Indians.
What's their is their culture similar at all to Native Americans in America?
No, it's a little different. It's a
Uh-huh.
little different. Less clothes.
Less close.
Yeah. Let me show you some pictures.
Please, yeah, show
because it's different. It's different.
But
the way why it's the same story. They were searching for India, and they arrived in Brazil.
God damn, India was really hard for these people to find. They
And
found
also,
every other.
and also developed some technique of navigation.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
fuck.
I do want to, because you are a Jew. And in Brazil, that's very rare
I wouldn't say it's rare
compared to America. Compared to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Let me show you the Brazilian Indians. Okay, this is a Brazilian Indian.
okay.
Wow.
Okay, this is a family of Brazilian Indians.
And do they have protect? It's one of these things. I'm about to be offensive in a whole different
Look at
country.
this.
I don't even know.
This is Brazilian Indians.
And do they have like protected parts of land in Brazil the same
Yeah,
way
they
in America
have
we
it.
have
That's
reserves?
also a discussion during Bolsonaro's regime.
He was not into
He
being.
couldn't care less about
Didn't
the
seem
Indians.
like he would. Yeah.
And we were trying to fight about like for their land and for the territory. That's a conversation, man. The same thing you guys have here. At least you have those preserved places, but you guys here have something that I think is crazy, that Indians cannot have like alcohol in the reserve, but they built cities.
Are you talking about America?
Yeah, in America.
We have to call them Native American, I believe.
Native American?
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
call,
yeah.
you cannot call them Indians.
Yeah, we don't. That's. I mean, it's great. It's
My bad.
back.
My
No.
bad. I don't know. I'm a foreigner.
That is true. You do get a pass.
Yeah.
But I think like back in kindergarten. I mean, these are the
Why
kinds
you
of
cannot
changes.
say it to Indians? I'm sorry.
Because I again, I don't know the full, but I think it's a degree of that label was given by colonizers.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine it's someone showing up. They
Native
they
American
mislabeled where they are, and now you are that thing on their
I
mistake.
believe it's Native American indigenous people. Like
Indigenous
yeah,
people,
Yeah.
because it's the people who lived here first.
Yeah.
But I remember back in kindergarten, what would we say to sit? We used to, the
Crisscross.
teacher would say
Oh,
sit Indian
Indian
style. I
style.
mean, that's what the teacher would say. And that meant sit crossing your legs.
One time I said that when I was student teaching because I just hadn't thought about it. No one had said, and the kids didn't know what I meant.
Yeah.
because they've now know.
What
it
you
as-
said.
So I said to a group of kids, a group of kindergartners, I go, okay, can everyone sit down Indian style? And I automatically was like, oh, that's weird that I said that. Like, I'm thinking also, mind you, I student taught like a long time ago. Let's put that on the record. This is before the 2000s.
This was a couple months ago for sure.
But I
That was
said that
15 days ago.
I said it, and the kids looked at me like, what? They had no idea. They never heard that phrase, which is great. But I didn't know the new phrase. I didn't know no one in all the fucking education classes I took, no one ever said like, oh, and by the way, when you tell kids to sit, it's got to be crisscross applesauce now.
And how do you say now instead of Indian style?
You
Native
don't
crisscross
say,
applesauce.
but you also don't say. You also don't say sit Native American style or indigenous style, because
No.
the whole point is that they're human beings. They don't just sit this one particular
We all
way.
sit this way. Like,
It's-
we didn't
it's
steal that.
All of American history. I once talked about it on this podcast. Someone got mad at me the way I talked about. But if you, we have glossed over the fact that I believe it's 8 million indigenous people were killed as
Yeah.
America expanded, and we glossed over it, and like especially in schools, we're just taught
Especially.
that Thanksgiving happened and it was a fun meal.
Yeah.
And then like you get to high school and they're like, and we gave them blankets with diseases on purpose.
On purpose to
And
kill them.
Pocahontas
Yeah.
was a baby when she was given, not like a hot Disney princess of age.
She was like 12.
So like our whole story has been insane, the way that we've lied about it. And Americans got away with it because they didn't have any indigenous people in the classroom, many classes, to be like, oh, what the fuck is that version of the story?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like a cute version of the Holocaust, where it would be like as if the Holocaust was taught,
Yeah.
where they said, and then they went to camps and, they got to hang out with their friends and sleep in
Yeah.
bunk beds.
That's the way
And-
we learn in Brazil, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, but what
I understand. Yeah,
there's
the
not a
sto-
lot of Jews in
But
Brazil.
it's the same everywhere. The story about Indians and the way we learned, and it's the same thing. Like
Yeah.
in Brazil, it's the same story. We kill them. We give the Portuguese people would give them like mirrors for their lands, and they would give them like I don't know, like a little things that they bring from Portugal, like I don't know, like a necklace or an earring.
Yeah.
And they would get like lands and trees and amazing trees, and they were like fucking destroy the land. And
Yeah. I think there was one funny thing. Again, who knows? You begin to doubt your entire education if you really think about it. But there was something about like there was a trade for like Louisiana where they traded them beads or whatever. Americans gave something for the land, and the indigenous people like to themselves were like, "What fools! You can't own land."
Yeah.
And then you know they were like, "We'll show you."
Well,
what
I live where I
owning
live.
land means.
Where I live in New York is really close to us. Is the site where they bought Manhattan, like, and it's crazy. There's a plaque, and it's like it was sold for literally on the thing. It says trinkets is one of the descriptions of things of
Yeah.
like, however,
what is trinkets?
just it couldn't mean less of a thing. It's like, oh, look at like if you're at a fair and you're like, hey, yeah, look at those trinkets.
A lot
over
of
there.
merch is
like,
trinkets,
It's just like
a little
it's just
bracelet,
like,
a little.
It's
Like-
very. It's like a word of like something very small, like
Stuff, like
like
little-
stuff that has no value to it. And so so it's just like this plaque that's there, and you're like they bought all this land, and then, like in the description it says trinkets, among other things.
Yeah.
But
Isn't it
not-
crazy that Louisiana still have the same value? Trinkets.
Yeah.
You can buy Louisiana with trinkets right now, today, 2020.
Did you have any kind of Jewish up? Did you have a bar mitzvah? Did you care?
No, I didn't, because my father is Jewish
Sure.
and my mom is not. So I never get baptized. I was around.
Are you circumcised?
I'm not circumcised.
You're not circumcised.
So
And that's standard in Brazil.
it is not. Here, you're circumcised as soon as people get born, right?
It's
But
pretty
it's crazy
common.
because my dick looks amazing, even with that. Isn't it crazy? I can unfortunately on podcast I cannot show you, but no, I didn't. We don't. That's not something that there's. You know that there's no medical explanation for a circumcision, right?
Yes. Listen, I'm not pro circumcision other than the fact that I'm glad I'm circumcised. A, because I don't remember the procedure.
Oh, yeah.
So it's easy to say that.
Yeah.
And B, I am more it's been more normalized the way it looks.
Yes.
And I've never had a woman go like, "Where's your foreskin?" Now, have you ever been, especially when you went to America, were you ever with a woman who was like, "Ah, what's that?"
No, that never. I don't think that would happen. That's very rude, Gianmarco. That's very rude. That's very rude.
The first time
So you protect the Indians, you cannot protect my dick now.
Listen,
That's-
I think it would probably be better. I think the head's oversensitive. I think that cover is meant to be there.
Yes, sir.
I think without it, there's sometimes like, it's ticklish almost.
too much sensitivity or sensibility.
It's there for a reason.
Sensitivity.
Yeah,
It's crazy to
Sensibility.
do it.
My dick cried. It's too sensitive.
But I remember the first time I saw it in porn. That's the first time I saw an uncircumcised penis, and I thought it was like,
When my dick is erect, you cannot see the foreskin. That's the thing. Yeah, it doesn't look the best when it's not ready for action. But I think no dick looks good when it's not ready for action, unless you're in porn. Some of those dicks, they look good when they're not ready for action. But
sure. I'm definitely a grower, not a shower.
When are porn? I was.
we
I
have
was
a lot of
say,
porn in Brazil.
I was
Do you?
gonna say.
Oh,
I was gonna say. You said when, but when are you seeing porn dicks when they're not erect? You know what I
No.
mean?
Yeah, a lot
You
of
were
like
yeah.
trouble getting it up. I'm sure there's some
Haven't
porn
you-
like takes him a while
Oh,
to
no,
get it
yeah.
up.
is, yeah.
Yeah. This porn that now are made, they're not all penetration all the time. You can see them actually, a little bit of story.
A little bit of story.
I do like a little bit of story. I've always been a story.
do?
I need
Yeah.
to know like how they're related before
I told
can
you about
enjoy
that
it.
like really long one I watched that one time. It was two women, and it was amazing because I was like, this is going on for so long. Well, because first you're scrolling.
Sure,
Of course. You're scrolling and you're looking for certain things to be
Been there.
happening. And I was amazed because I scrolled and nothing happened in 10 minutes. I was like, okay. I see what you're doing.
You're saying you're
I was scrolling
in the video.
in the video 10 minutes and nothing. You're popping in every minute to see like
gosh.
what's happening. And I was like, I could see that there was no porn in 10 minutes. I was like, okay, we're gonna start from the beginning. We're gonna watch this story because I was like, this is so crazy to me and it was like a really deep story about like the one was like feeling differently about things and maybe they're gonna end the relationship, but it was a lot of long
It
conversations.
sounds like it was like Sense and Sensibility.
Yes.
But it was bad. But it was shot really well.
All of a sudden, you found out I'm watching Thelma and Louise. That's not even porn.
And it was like it probably was like an 18-minute video, and I want to say 2 minutes.
You know,
of the
they
end
have
were
tabs.
porn.
They have tabs now where it's like
Yes.
blowjob,
Yes.
doggy,
Yeah.
reverse cowgirl. If they had like getting lunch,
Yeah,
opening a present from a dear friend.
yeah.
So not weren't raised very Jewish, but it must feel interesting as a comedian. Like there's this Jewish line of like comics, and you started comedy there, and
Yeah. No, I think my father is Jewish, and I kind of got his sense of humor. You know, I was self-deprecating a little, so I can see now the Jewish humor. I've been hearing a lot about it, but now that I can see people going on stage, and now I can actually understand a little better, and I have a little bit of that. We have Jewish people in Brazil because a lot of Jewish people went to Argentina and Brazil during the war.
yeah.
They left to Brazil. They got a little pieces of land here. They started to actually build something. So we have a population in São Paulo, which is the city that I have an apartment that I used to live. And I still have my kid lives there and stuff. But to be here and see this community of like Jewish people doing comedy, it's amazing. It's great.
So your kid's there, and your wife, you're married.
My ex-wife
Your ex-wife.
is with my kid, yeah.
So I guess I'm interested about. So I know. So you were doing comedy. Things were blowing up in Brazil, but then you started getting in some like trouble stuff with people being mad about jokes.
Yeah, that's yeah.
What was there one that was like the big one, and then the floodgates opened? Was there rumblings?
For a while, I was testing the limits. Can you imagine, like, you guys have been doing stand-up, I don't know, for the past 70 years.
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce was fighting for freedom of speech, I don't know, it would be like the 40s, I think.
Yeah.
50s,
And he would just go on stage and he'd
60s,
say
I think 60s.
fuck, or he'd say shit, and they'd be like, you're arrested.
Yes. Yeah.
And then gradually that became, and then George Carlin
Yes.
did all those words, and then that went to the Supreme Court. So like
Yes.
all that stuff gradually.
In the 60s, in the 50s, you guys were already talking about this. So we started this new way of doing comedy in a country that we're used to characters and impersonators. You know the type of comedy that you see in like Mexican TV channels, Televisa, like those guys like dressing with wigs and costumes.
Yeah.
What about in terms of cursing? Is it a sensitive country? Like, can you say fuck on TV, or
No.
are there rules?
You can't say fuck on TV.
Is it because of religion? Like, is religion, like, I feel like in America, deep down, religion is the roots of why
I think
we
it's a
have
little bit
these
of
things.
religion. It's a little bit of costume, like costumes. I don't know how to say this in English. It's like the moral.
Yeah.
You know, moral is the way you build society. It's a very Christian country.
Is it Catholic?
Catholic,
yeah.
Evangelical, a lot of evangelical churches.
Really?
There, yeah.
Okay.
More like music and like shows, and it's more than just the mass itself.
Yeah.
You know? The temple, they have like huge temples and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's a little bit of that. And also, I think that's the same everywhere. You don't see that much cursing on TV anywhere, you know?
Sure. I've always find it very frustrating, especially as politics became so much entertainment. There's a degree of whenever a politician curses, people go, hey, he's talking honestly. And like when Trump's video came out, I thought it was a really interesting time because he said the potential president nominee said, grab him by the pussy.
Yes.
And so many news stations are quoting this big newsworthy thing and going, he said, grab them by the P word. And you're like, who is this for? Who is this for? We're talking about the next leader of this country with nuclear weapons. Just say pussy. That's what he said. There was one, this one made me so mad. It was like Ukraine when Russia first started their invasion. There was some island where Russia, messaged them, give over the island. And I guess the Ukrainians said, fuck you, or something along those lines. And instead, the newscaster was like, and the Ukrainians sent them back a strongly worded message, and then Russia killed them all. And it's like, killing them all that's the dark, fucked up part. Just say fuck. But at the same time, I also understand, I don't want to see news shows where every politician's like, well, fuck you. Well, fuck your mother then. Suck my... It's tough.
Yeah.
But
and also they're showing people getting murdered and killed.
They're showing it. Yeah.
They're showing
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Brazil you can see you can during Carnival you watch people naked, basically. Like the breasts are out, they're dancing.
Would they show that on TV or boobs? So boobs are okay.
Yeah.
No pussy, I imagine.
I would say during Carnival.
During Carnival.
Not during the rest of the year. You know what's crazy? So it's a very sexualized country, but at the same time, you cannot say fuck on TV. So even more hypocritical.
Yeah.
You can see people naked in soap operas sometimes, but you cannot say fuck. Or people are suing me because of the jokes I'm saying. So that's drove me crazy, because people are mad at me because of the jokes. I'm a comedian doing jokes on TV and I'm being canceled as fuck. And at the same time, I watch TV and people are naked, which I think is awesome. I'm not even criticizing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, don't have double standards,
Yeah.
Now what? Because obviously, if people could sue just based off a joke in their name, I mean, was it defamation you were being sued for?
Like perjury. I don't know. There's
Jay Leno could be sued by 10,000 people based on this. He joked about every person under the sun.
Yes.
But so
you can sue here in America. You also can sue someone.
Sure, but you lose.
You're never gonna win.
Yeah,
That's the
never win.
difference.
So why did they win?
You're afraid of losing.
I lost a lot of lawsuits.
You lost those lawsuits.
I lost
there.
a lot of money, bro.
Wow.
I lost real money.
That is insane.
What was the biggest one? Was it that it was a singer?
Yeah, there was a singer on TV. She is like our I would say our Jennifer Lopez.
Okay.
She's pretty, she's beautiful. Sings like shit. So this is our Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
And she was pregnant, and I was hosting a TV show. It was a mix between like the View and the Daily Show. It was
Okay.
politics with like people talking about the news.
That's
and
your wet dream.
we would show stories, and then I would be one of the hosts.
Yeah.
Or 3 hosts. And the guy, one of my friends asked me, "Oh, she's pregnant, but do you think she's still hot, right?" And I, what I should have said was nothing, but I'm very creative. I'm a creative person.
Of course.
So I said, she's so hot that I would fuck her and her baby. On TV.
And did they
and
laugh
people
at that moment? They laughed at that moment.
Everybody, even
Thank
my
God,
colleagues.
because of that moment, you get silence from that
Everybody.
one. You're just
Yeah.
Because I was doing that running joke all the time. Like I would fuck him. Not with this word,
sure.
but I would grab. I was.
Russell says that every time he sees a pregnant woman
I would
out of nowhere.
Okay.
I would say this to everybody, but then that time was like, when you do like your scale the joke.
Yeah.
Now she's pregnant, so I would fuck her and her baby.
Yeah.
But I didn't use the word fuck. It was more like we have this comer, which is like eat.
Eat.
It's a synonym.
Eat
with-
like, but would I take that as eating pussy or
No,
just
no.
eat like
Eat is
fuck?
fuck.
Eat means
Eat is
fuck.
fuck,
Okay.
but not as dirty. Comer is not as dirty as fuder. Fuder is fuck.
Okay.
Comer is like have sex with.
Sure.
No, it's not the same.
And-
Comer
and
is a little more.
The joke is no. You'd have to be acting in very bad faith to be like, he said he'd fuck the baby.
Yeah.
There's no way anyone. So you said
I
it.
don't have enough dick to do that.
Yeah.
I wish I had.
Yeah.
But I
Don't
don't.
we all?
And in the moment, are you like, great joke? You moved on. Did you give it a second thought in the moment?
That's the thing, Gianmarco. I was always known by being this guy who always push limits and boundaries. I'm always testing, and people like me because of that in my country. You know, Rafinha, he doesn't care. He just fuck whatever he says. That's good. We like him for that.
Yeah.
And that was my role on that show.
Sure.
Also. I was that guy. Because when we used to do meetings and we would like read the script and someone would say like, oh, I don't know if I do that joke. I would always say to them, if you're not going to do that joke, give it to me because it's good. Let me say it. Because what people would do is like, they would do it in the wrong way. They would change the jokes. It wouldn't be that funny, but at the same time, you wouldn't be that offensive. I'm like, let me say exactly what is written because I want to say. So I was always putting myself in risk.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I thought, oh, we're a team, right? So we are going to fight as a team. But then it's something that happens everywhere, you know. You know, like, oh, I don't know this guy. Let's suspend him. And when they tried to suspend me, I resigned from the show.
Yeah.
And then it became this huge thing.
When it happened, were you freaking out? Or I mean, you know, Lenny Bruce notably had a difficult, like it probably destroyed him, all the things that he dealt with. He was going to jail. Were you scared that you were going to go bankrupt? Were you scared? I mean,
no, if I was scared of being bankrupt, I would apologize and just go back to the show.
Sure.
I wasn't afraid. That's why it hurt. I think it kind of hurt my career a little.
Did your wife, you were married at the time?
I was married at the time.
What was her thoughts? Did she say, please apologize?
When those things happen, Gianmarco, when you are in that situation, you are canceled. Because this is the thing. I'm just telling a story that it looks fast and it looks like it's not that much of a big deal. If you think about Chappelle.
Sure.
Okay, Chappelle was canceled. Yeah, he was. But if you think about it, is a mom in Nebraska really thinking about this whole controversial situation?
That's why I don't think Chappelle was canceled.
Chappelle was canceled.
No, he was.
Some people were annoyed and they expressed it.
And that's it. It's all Hollywood bullshit, and that's all.
Yeah.
But with me, my show, I was a Jimmy Fallon guy. I would say I wouldn't say Jimmy Fallon exactly, but I was doing this show that everybody was watching. It was on open TV, so it was really, really big.
Yeah.
So it was on every like website, but it happened in 2011, and this whole cancel culture wasn't even established.
Sure.
So
But here's the
nobody
thing,
was on my side because everybody was like, I'm not gonna help him. I'm gonna kill my career. He's crazy.
But things have happened. Like my problem with the term cancel culture is it's been we were talking yesterday on our AMP show every Tuesday 45. We were talking with Sheba Mason, who's Jackie Mason's daughter. You know Jackie Mason?
No.
He was like a super famous Jewish comedian.
Okay.
He did Ed Sullivan, if I'm having the story correctly.
Okay.
This back in the 50s or 60s. The president, Lyndon B. Johnson, needed to make a statement, so they were cutting his set short. What's the name of the show? I just forgot it.
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan was giving him some cue of like, and he's on live TV. Everyone's watching it, and he's like making fun of Ed Sullivan being weird, and they thought that he gave Ed Sullivan the finger.
Yeah.
Probably did, and it sounds like it was grainy,
blurry,
old footage,
but they couldn't tell.
But the next day they go. Jackie Mason flipped off Ed Sullivan, middle finger in the TV,
on all the
his
papers.
career like fucking
done.
And so there's a degree of like, what do you mean that was quote unquote cancel culture? It's more just when I think there should be a term for when the media suddenly focuses on one insular incident and the consequences are insane. And that sounds like what had happened.
It happened,
whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. But it's happened since the invention of the camera.
Yeah.
But you were...
Also, I was live. So
You're live, yeah.
TV, it's dangerous because of those little
It's
things.
scary to be a comedian on live TV.
and
You
that-
want to be funny. Sometimes we say stuff on the podcast and I go like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
Yes, and
Russell's going to get in trouble for this one.
it wasn't on... It wasn't on the script, so it was all improvised. Yeah, you're putting yourself in this dangerous place that can actually hurt your career. But at the same time, isn't it our whole business saying what we want to say,
For
what we
sure.
think it's funny. I don't know. I don't think I was born for that environment, you know. Some
Of
people
course.
are. Some people play the game. They don't want to be
I
controversial.
think hosting a show, it requires a very specific type of person that if you're
Yes.
at all nervous about that thing, and I think it's really hard to maintain that because at some point
Okay.
you gotta kind of like you turn into a host at some point.
Let me tell you,
know?
there's two situations in which you are happy doing this. One, you're dumb. You don't think about things, which I think is most. You don't think. You don't think.
There's a lot of jobs
You
in the
don't
world, yeah.
suffer.
Yeah.
Oh, I said some shit. I apologize. I don't care. I'm not even thinking about cancel culture. I just want to keep doing what I do.
Yeah.
That's nothing. There's no thought behind what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
That's the two things, you know?
Yes.
I don't know who is a psychopath and who is dumb, but if you think too much, and that's what I think it was my problem.
You're thinking too much.
I wasn't suffering because I choose to do what I felt was real. So that never put me in this depressive state. And when you asked me about my wife at the time, she wanted me to be happy.
Yeah.
And my parents, my family, they wanted me to be. If I was happy and I was like telling them, this is not a big deal, they would breathe, you know, because they knew I had money. It wouldn't be a problem. I was born in a state where I wasn't getting any money. I moved to São Paulo. I kind of conquered the country with my comedy. So everything was okay, you know? If I lost everything at that point, I would already have built something.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so it was much better than if I have done anything, you know?
Yeah.
I'm killing in English. I haven't done anything. This is
Yeah.
next step English. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's what I decided not to suffer. But I have a lot of thinking behind this whole thing. And that can lead you to problems, you know, when you want to, I don't know, fight against the wave, when you want to be more controversial. If you just play the game, do it. And that's what they wanted me to do. They were like, Rafi, Brazil, it's a happy country. Nobody cares. People like the underdog story. You had this whole thing that happened. Apologize. Go to your knees and ask the country to apologize. They will love you. Cry a little. Fuck it. And bro, it's a fake game, but I understand the people who plays it because you can lose a lot if you don't.
Yeah. But I think it's hard though because as a rational human being, you're like, well, this is all bullshit. These apologies are crafted. Sometimes they're sorry. In this case, it's like it was just a riff. And there's this degree where I'm like, I think most sensible people would be like, they go, ugh, gross.
Gross.
But that's it.
I know.
Or you don't laugh. Especially when you have people on camera laughing with you, there's a degree of like, okay. But instead you have the couple people who are like, how dare you pedophile. And it's like, why would we as a society let those people lead the way when we all know, I mean, not we all, but most of us know like, okay, that was gross.
People get your story and use for their own narrative. I had people in a Congress for 10 minutes calling me a pedophile. Yeah. And people are like, yeah, because he wants to use my case, which was like a national-wide case. Everybody knew about that case, to bring attention to him. And I understand this process. That's why when I see the fake apology, Gianmarco, I completely agree. We all know it's fake. Yeah. But if you don't play that game, that hurts you a lot. And that's what happened to me. I wouldn't do anything different. I wouldn't do. But I know how much I lost. I lost movies. I lost series. I lost gigs. I lost private events, sponsors.
Was it just like a flood in that first week? Was it brutal?
Lot.
Just emails of just like, oh, fuck.
I was like, yeah, but at the same time, Gianmarco, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had built something already.
Yeah.
I was happy with the fact that maybe I'm doing something that in the future people will look back and, oh, this guy was brave, you know? And I think that people feel this now. I never lost too much audience. You know,
Yeah.
the real followers, people who are following me. I feel that I have a very engaged audience until today. They are really cheering for me here in the US.
Sure.
They want to know where I'm gonna get. I'm the guy who think about it, Gianmarco. Sometimes I'm talking about with my wife. I sit down and I'm like, it's a dream for every comedian to be in the place that we are right now.
Yeah.
Doing shows in big clubs, being a regular at the Cellar. I think I'm the only South American doing this. I wouldn't say at the Cellar. I have another Chilean friend. I have a Colombian friend. But we are a group of like a 5 or 6 individuals.
Yeah.
This is huge. I'm conquering a new market and performing. Sometimes we take it for granted, my friend.
Yeah.
We go up on stage after CK, after Chappelle. And I am a guy. I was in Brazil a few years ago, building a scene, and I'm doing this. So I got nothing. I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm doing. You know.
Real quick, did you have to go?
No.
Are you okay?
I'm good now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
He just lost the gig.
just to go back to the downside of it, though, how much money do you think you lost from that joke alone?
Just for that
Or
joke.
just from the lawsuit, how much did you have to pay?
I paid 300,000 with
For like lawyer.
my money 300,000. But it's the same as me.
But not dollar. What is the money there?
Yeah, it's
So it's like $5 here.
It's reais.
What is it called?
Real. It's called real.
Real.
Real. It's the same as you write real. 1 real is $5. It's $5. So it would be, I don't know, like $70,000. But think about it.
That's a lot.
Okay, but that's a lot. But we don't translate money. If you're a lawyer in America and you get 100,000 a year, you are a lawyer in Brazil. You get 100,000 reais. You know, so it is actually. If I was an American comedian, I would be paying $300,000. You know, so
Sure.
it's not like it's the same as 70,000. You cannot translate money; it's difficult. So it's the same as you paying $300,000 for a lawsuit.
When you do comedy in Brazil now, do you not say certain things, or is it just on TV? Or
I don't care, my friend.
you don't care? You just go for
don't
it.
care.
Have the laws changed at all? I mean, I guess the thing is, like, part of the reason in America would ever fly is because there's so much comedy here.
Yeah.
The courts would be filled with
Yes.
lawsuits
Oh,
every
yeah.
second.
Oh,
So in a
yeah.
way,
And also, you guys learn how to play the game. If you do the most outrageous joke about, I don't know, Biden today, maybe next week he's doing the same joke at SNL. You guys kind of learn how to play this game. You know? You know that you lose a lot if you fight against a comedian. People know the deal.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I think the girl lost much more than I did.
really,
Yeah, not money.
yeah.
But you know, I remember like 2 months after the lawsuit, she went to host an MTV award shit. And when she stepped on stage, people started to cheer my name. And she started to cry. Oh, it was horrible.
Oh
It was
my God!
I didn't want this to happen.
Was she still pregnant with a baby?
No, she wasn't. She was already. She delivered.
Is she still a big star there?
She's known. Yeah, she's very famous. She is very famous.
And the baby's still not of age. So no comments about the baby.
No
but
comments about the baby. But her father is very famous in Brazil. He's like this country singer, one of the biggest ones that we have. So the whole family.
It's like a Miley Cyrus kind of situation.
And she was married to this guy who used to own an advertisement company, and that guy would run sponsorships in different TV channels. So that guy was very powerful. That was the problem.
Oh.
It was not her. It was the husband.
did they get divorced?
They did like 6 months ago.
Wow.
If you ever saw that guy,
So I'm winning, guys.
yeah. You got to do a show with her someday.
I saw them one day. It was me, my wife, and my kid, and it was in this park, and there was her, him, and the
Oh
baby,
my God.
and the roller coaster.
Did you make eye contact?
No, I didn't. I was like, nah. I have nothing against the girl. I understand
sure.
where she's coming
No,
from.
no, yeah. It's
I
just
understand it's the whole pressure. She wasn't suing me.
For sure.
The guy was not. He hated me. Of course, he hated me, but it was more the pressure around him of his
Are you gonna let
peers.
that?
Like,
Are you
oh,
gonna let him talk
let
that way? Yeah. That
you
kind of
know.
like toxic kind
So
of.
I kind of
wow.
understand. You know, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So how old's your son now?
He is 12.
12. And you've been. When did you first?
And my wife was pregnant when I said that joke.
Sure.
My kid was born almost like the same time. So while I was having all this conversation about making jokes about a pregnant woman, my wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I knew that I could not hit the baby because I have done it.
That definitely like pregnancy and jokes about pregnancy. It's just very funny. Knocked Up had funny jokes where remember Seth Rogen?
Oh,
He
yeah.
thought he was worried he was hitting the baby.
Yeah.
But like it just combines two very disparate things in America, which is like sex, and then
Yeah.
literally there's a baby there, and so like. Just even joking about Americans haven't even figured out, you know, they can't even comprehend the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? I was doing the similar jokes, like me hitting the baby. I started to question myself. I don't want to. That's not the way I want to meet my baby. You know, that's
Yeah.
not the first content that
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing this whole bit, like a long bit about it on stage. So that's like a huge difference between people paying to watch me on stage and people watching me doing that joke on Open TV.
Yeah.
So that's why I think sometimes it's a little unfair for us club comedians to look at those guys who apologize and like, oh, that's bullshit.
Sure,
That's bullshit.
sure.
It's a completely different
Yes.
ball game that
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
involved.
Yes.
That they are involved. You know,
Of course.
For sure.
I think I would struggle to if I was with someone who was pregnant. I think if they were
joke
like
about
if they're to have sex.
to have sex.
If it was like 6 or 7 months, I think there would be a part of me being like, "Ooh, it's right there. I can feel it kicking."
But in the belly.
Yeah, but it's right there.
And you know that hormonally, some women they get horny as fuck.
Yeah.
Some of them don't, which was my wife's case. Which was my wife's case. I'm sorry, but some people just want to have sex, and bro, gotta do it.
I think I've seen on porn sites where it's like they'll be like pregnant woman. I've never.
Yeah, but like you're fucking another woman's. Yeah,
No,
that's
we've
a little-
established again. You're not fucking the kid.
Okay, I'm not fucking the kid, but at the same time, I don't know if I would be comfortable having sex with a pregnant woman that is not pregnant from my baby.
So
Okay,
you,
okay,
as
that-
long as so wait
that's
so
horrible.
so wait, but then by that logic, it's like, well, it's okay if it's your baby because like that's more incesty.
Yeah.
The other is less incesty.
Yeah.
I would
So
say.
maybe I am sick.
maybe
So maybe she has reasons
wow,
to
wow,
sue
wow,
me.
wow, wow.
How has it been having a son in Brazil
It's
while you
horrible.
pursue this
it's
here?
horrible, my friend. It's horrible.
When
I don't
do-
want to even talk about it because I cry. It's horrible. It's not good at all. Because it's like he doesn't actually. He's 12 now, so he understands a little better. But he just wants his dad around, you know.
How
Yeah.
Why? He even asked me, why? If you love me so much, why are you doing this? You know, it's difficult.
he articulated it
Yeah,
that
yeah.
succinctly.
Yeah, and I understand him. Yeah, because if it was my dad, I don't know if I would be that comfortable. You
Yeah.
know. Now he's 12. I have been doing this since 2018. I spent 2 years during the pandemic, which was actually a breath of fresh air in this process because I was like, but I go there a lot. I spend a lot of money with tickets. We see each other at least every, 50 days. So I'm always, and I'm like, he called me today at 7:00 in the morning. I asked him with homework. I help him with homework. I talk to the therapist, to the doctor, to the school. I'm completely 100% involved. I would say much more than a lot of parents who are actually around, or maybe I'm just creating
No,
this
no.
Yeah.
for me to be comfortable.
What's the time difference? What's Brazil?
Now it's 2 hours. 2 hours.
oh, 2 hours.
It's not that bad.
Oh,
That's not
good.
bad.
It was horrible in LA, but now it's
Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah.
even when I'm in LA
Oh,
and Tova's in New York or
3
vice
hours,
versa,
hard.
it is hard in the relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we're just not in the same space
Oh,
to talk.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Does
but it's
he?
difficult. It's difficult. I bring here. I want to bring. He's gonna come here at the end of December. He just, the thing is, when you have a kid and you're a comedian, it's
can't
just
imagine.
a professional. It's like you're a lawyer. You're an engineer. I don't think he gets it. Like his dad has a different type of business that he's involved. He's used.
He
to
hasn't been to America yet.
Oh yeah,
He has. Okay, cool. And is it challenging? Is your ex-wife like totally on board with this? I mean,
completely on board. She's amazing.
that's
That's
what's
great.
amazing.
That's great.
Because custody
is-
can be so difficult.
She is amazing. She's great. She helps me a lot. She knows that she can count on me too, with anything, with money, with. Sometimes she's having an argument with him. It's too much for her. She calls me and I call him and I talk to him because he respects me a lot. So we have a very good relationship, and we are very easygoing, us both.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. That's good. We don't stress out about little things. It would be difficult if she was this, like this woman that worries about him, not like, the clothes that he's wearing, the way that he's grabbing the utensils. That would be too much. But she's cool and I am too, so it works.
Do you want your son to, maybe for college, like, do you see America as a better place to be?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My friend, I was robbed at gunpoint 5 times in my life in Brazil. Can you imagine that?
No.
A gun in your head, it's not a good feeling. I wouldn't say it's fun.
Yeah.
So,
what was the worst one? How did they do it?
It's bad. I'm talking bad about Brazil, but that happens. I'm not creating.
Yeah,
it.
it's the downside.
It's the downside.
Yeah.
That's the name of the show. So one day I was leaving the car, and the guy pointed a gun on my head and stole my car. One day my tire was like, how do you say when you have a hole in your tire?
It was punctured. It was flat tire.
Yeah, flat tire. I got a flat tire.
Cut your tires.
And then I wanted to
slit
change
your-
the tire. The guy pointed a gun on me and stole my jacket and my shoes.
And was it like from afar, right to your head?
The first one, he was like on the car. Now in Brazil, it's horrible. Like my ex, my brother-in-law, is that right?
Yeah.
My ex-brother-in-law,
Ex-brother-in-law.
the brother of my ex-wife.
Uh-huh.
He was in the middle of the traffic like a few months ago, and now what they do, they have like an iron glove that if you have your windows shut, because nobody drives with their windows open in the city.
Yeah.
The guys now are punching windows to steal like wallets and cell phones and fucking GPS
In the middle of traffic.
in the middle of traffic. That happens a lot there. So it's dangerous.
Are the cops just corrupt? Are they not present?
It's too much. I would say, yeah, there is a little bit of corruption in the police force. Watch a movie called Police Squad. I'm gonna send it to you. Okay,
I'll watch it.
It tells a little bit about how our police works, but it's too much violence. It's too much crime. It's difficult to be on top of everything.
Yeah.
When you had the gun, did you? I think I would piss my pants.
You learn how to behave when you have a situation like that. I've seen like police officers going on TV to teach people what to do. Like one thing that they teach you a lot is like when you are in your car, have 2 wallets, one for you and one for the thief. Because if he want to ask for your wallet, you give them like one with a few.
You have a
little bit of
couple things in
money.
there, so
yeah,
you
a
don't.
little bit of money there, like a card or 2 that doesn't work,
It's like a wallet with
Yeah.
Monopoly money in it.
Yeah,
and you're like,
Monopoly
take
money.
it, please.
No, this is real.
$3 in expired cards.
Yes, my card. But when they point a gun to your head, don't do any sudden movement. Don't. If he asks, "Oh, give me your phone," don't just like go and grab your phone inside of a box or the glove compartment. Just fucking tell them every move that you're doing, because some of them are professionals. Some of them are fucking high as fuck, like use crack or something, and they don't know what they're doing. So explain to them exactly what you're doing because you're going to be shot in the head.
Yeah.
I had a friend in Brazil that was shot in the neck, and the gun was then the bullet was here for like 2 weeks, and he had to extract with surgery. Bro, it's hard, and I don't want my kid to be around that. So what you do in a city like São Paulo, you live in condominiums. So it's like it's a city inside of a city. When you're like middle class, so you feel protected, like big buildings with an area that you can play around. I'm from a city in the south, and when I was a teenager, we used to play soccer on the streets. But you cannot do this anymore. You gotta, and here, I see people. I have this bit that I say on stage, like people say that New York is dangerous. Oh, you have to be careful. You have to be really careful because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Man, I walk after the show sometimes at 3:00 in the morning. I walk home
Yeah, of course.
from the cellar to Murray Hill. I walk home. That's something. And sometimes I'm walking and I see a girl like checking her phone on a dark corner by herself.
Yeah.
And every time I see this, I think I'm gonna rob this bitch. Just to teach her a lesson. I'm robbing you today so you don't get killed tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I
There's a lot of other places in America that I feel less safe than in New York City.
Oh, yeah?
There's so many people around.
But
in New
people
York.
talk. There's people out there like, I don't feel safe going to New York, and you're like,
I was
what
like, what
are you?
There's
talking
always.
about?
I've never been outside my apartment and not seen 40 people like doing. You know what I mean?
And,
Like,
not that, and to be fair, I've been scared of New York several times.
Yes.
But
It's
I've
mainly-
had
it's
one
mainly
friend
the
mugged
subway.
at knife point as opposed to
my
friend.
My being scared in New York has, fortunately for me, all been fairly limited to the subway. When you're trapped in
Sure.
like a small space.
What's your okay? Someone puts a gun to you.
I don't know. I probably
this.
freeze.
You know what you do? If the guy just
Wait,
just go to the guy. Give a little
Kiss the gun. Kiss the edge of the gun. My wife has a friend that I think I told you this story before. They were getting robbed. It was a group of women getting robbed in DC, and her friend. Her instinct was to throw her phone and wallet and run. And so she threw it and ran, but none of her friends did. And so she went back and picked up her wallet and phone and rejoined them to get mugged.
That's the
because
saddest
she was
thing.
like, she felt bad about leaving them to get mugged alone. And so she threw it.
Now tell me the truth. Would you come back?
I don't think so. No, I think I would have just kept running.
Kept
You know,
running.
I don't think I
Left
would have
Nicole
ran
there.
in the first place.
Nicole's there. Your wife is
Oh
there.
no! If Nicole's there, I'm gonna go back. But I'm saying like if I'm with a group of friends,
I'm gonna go back so he would have run.
It's hard to say. We had another friend. Nicole was telling me this that she got robbed in Paris, and she
but
was
that's
really
fancy.
she was
That's
really
good. That's a good memory.
blackout drunk at the time though, and she just said no. Like the guy held up a knife and was like, "Give me your purse," and she's like, "No, fuck off," and kept walking. And like I do think that if you have a crazy response to getting mugged, sometimes it could work in your
I had an
behalf.
Just scream
you know?
chocolate.
You're
The
like,
person's like, what?
My old singing teacher, she said she would be in Europe at certain places, Europe opera late at night. And what she would do if like someone started stalking her as she went home late at night, she would start looking in like a glass window and go, and she said, pretend that you're crazy.
Yeah.
And they will leave a crazy
they
person.
probably don't have
alone.
money. You know,
The problem with me, I'd probably try to sing too good, so I'd like
Yeah.
sing like some enchanted evening.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna
All right, put a gun on me. Let me see you do it.
give me all your money.
Just do it. Just do it.
He probably would kill you.
I don't think so. They don't want to kill you. They don't want to go to court. I'd say just
I
do
don't
it.
know though.
I'd say
Be-
thank you.
On the
I'd
off
say,
chance that they don't
I'd say
care.
I've been waiting for you to come, buddy.
And also, you're the worst thief ever. I'm sorry. Give me all of your money. Who is the thief who asked for like half? Give me half of your. You don't have to say all of your money.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Give me your money.
Give me a
30%.
reasonable
Give me all
amount of
your
your
money.
money. What did they say to you? Do it to me. What did act it? What did they?
Passa tudo. It's like give me everything.
Give me everything.
Give me everything.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's not.
It sounds like it happens so much they could just go. You know the drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what this is.
Oh yeah. It happens a lot. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but it's I want him to come here. I want him to have this comfortable life. I want him to go to school here. But the problem that I'm facing right now is because my wife, she wants to go back to Brazil. That's
Sure.
the big
Oh.
issue. Now she doesn't like New York. She's not comfortable here. She hates the winter.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Hates
winter's
it.
tough.
She got depressed during the winter. She has
Yeah.
like mads.
Has she been mugged at gunpoint yet, though? I mean,
No, she never lived in Brazil.
sure.
She never lived in Brazil. She was born in Brazil. At 4 years old, she moved to Ecuador. She lived in Ecuador until she was 18, and then she moved to America. So she doesn't know Brazil. And I tell her all the time, you don't know. It's very complicated. She goes, no, that's not a big thing. It's not at all. And then she was there. In the first week that she was in Brazil, she was scammed. The guy stole a lot of her money with like this Uber Eats in
Oh.
Brazil.
Like she didn't get her food.
No. The guy was like, there's a lot of scams in Brazil. A lot of scams. So this famous one is you ask for your food and you pay, I don't know, suppose $50. And the guy comes up to you and he was like, oh, there was like $3 left that wasn't paid. So you have to pay some kind of a fee, $3. And then he gives you this machine that is all fucking like works in crazy different ways. And he makes you pass like $3,000 and he doesn't show you and he just leave and then you're fucking.
God.
And he had your food too. Like he worked for Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he knew that she was waiting for him.
I wouldn't fall for that though.
You wouldn't, of course you wouldn't.
Yeah, I know better than that.
Yeah, so she yeah. That's what I say to her.
I say I'll pay in cash, $3. I'll give it to you right now.
Yeah, that could work, yeah.
All right, let's go on to our next segment.
This has gotta stop.
This has got to stop. Is there anything that needs to stop, Rafi?
People saying that Pepsi is better than Coke. This gotta stop.
Do people say that?
Yeah, a lot.
I'm definitely a Coke guy.
I'm a Coke guy.
I'm much better.
I'm a Coke
You know,
guy.
Pepsi's
Coke is way better.
It is way better, right?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know if I can put my finger on it. What is it for you?
I think Pepsi is like Coke with soap.
It feels I don't maybe it feels like sweeter.
If yeah,
Sweeter.
sweeter.
It
That's
feels
how I
sweeter
feel.
but in a fake way.
Yes.
Like in a like
the
ooh, I
authentic
feel the
sweet
syrup in there.
Yeah.
Where Coke I'm like, ooh, this is a little lighter and a little more refreshing.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a Coke.
Fuck Pepsi.
Fuck Pepsi. There's a Coke in Brazil called, not in Brazil, third world countries have this Coke Zero. Do you have?
Yes.
guys
Oh
have
yeah.
Zero?
We
yeah.
We don't have that much Zero here. This is a third world country shit.
We got Coke Light. We got Coke
Light.
We got all sorts of Coke.
There was a green Coke, like, and it was they tried to add like vitamins to it, and it tasted bad. I always liked the taste of Diet Coke. Thank God. I didn't really like soda growing up, but Diet Coke.
So
I
you
like
prefer
the taste.
the taste of the light than the
Yeah,
normal
Diet
one?
Coke. I can drink Coke now. I can even drink Pepsi now. But as a kid, I just like Diet Coke. And thank God, or I would have been a fucking mess.
So they tried to put vitamins in Coke?
Yeah. They
Oh.
tried that for a second. I remember they've tried all. They used to have a lot of the twists, like lemon, lime. They were okay. It was always a little bit too strong. But what's your soda of choice?
Well, I have if I'm having a drink with my thing, I'll do Diet Coke with my whiskey.
Coke.
But I if I had to pick a soda, I think it would be regular Coke. I
Regular Coke.
love regular Coke.
I drink at least 2 bottles of vitamin water every day. I love it. I wish that we had this in Brazil.
Vitamin.
Vitamin.
That's the what flavor?
Oh, anyone that is 0.
Isn't there a lot of sugar in that? I feel like vitamin water was a thing where we all thought it was healthy, and then one day people were like, "This isn't healthy. That's why it tastes so good." Anytime something tastes
Is
good,
it?
yeah. Anytime something tastes good,
It's
Tova
pretty
said
fine,
this is.
though.
Tova told me this is a very unhealthy relationship I have with food. But anytime something tastes good, I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is bad for me."
It's you have an eating disorder.
Yes. All right, our final segment.
You better count your blessings.
You better count your blessing. Did we say blessings in the last episode?
I don't know.
I'll do my blessing first. I filmed Corden, and my friend Chris was there. Yeah, probably I talked about this more in therapy. Where I was like, Chris was my girlfriend was with me. I headlined some shows in Maryland, and she got to see my dad and stepfather separately went to my show, and just saw, and my brother, and just saw how they came out of this show, packed, good show, and how none of them said a word of compliment to me. Just like witnessed
Bizarre.
what it was like of just the dad being like, all right, we're gonna head out, and my little brother, he came up, he's like, that one joke didn't work, and it was like I was in the wrong, like, I get it, he's a 22-year-old guy, but there's a degree of like, God damn, I don't have that in my family. My mom, after the Corden said, she was like, I was like, I had to say, was it good? And she said, oh yeah, I had seen all those jokes before, and it was like,
Oh my God,
that's
so sad.
It's so
Bro,
sad.
I mean, what's very frustrating about it is it's really hard to imagine going to see anything. Like, it's like if I was going to see someone in a croquet match. I don't know anything about croquet.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, if they won or if they at least finished, I would be like if it was like a national thing, I'd be like, that's so cool that you blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, or be like, I saw people seem to really react
stretch.
to you.
Oh, you picked
like,
that hammer. I could never
I have
swing
enough
that.
context clues to be able to like find a way to give you something from that.
And I said to you on the club, that's so amazing.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah.
So I was more loving than your father.
And comedians struggle with it. I've been pushing myself more recently to be like, tell someone that they did good.
Yes.
Because I think inside I have like an envy thing, and I'm like, okay, you can feel that, but still say good. But
so you think it's an envy thing?
I think like,
No, it's okay to be envy. It's not,
my dad might feel a certain kind of envy. My mom, and listen, my mom listens to this, so I will say my mom is very sweet, but I can totally just see that, knowing the little I do about my mom's parents. Like, it's just not an effusive kind of thing.
Yeah.
I do think my mom's very proud of me and is supportive. The day before, my mom drove me to 4 different spots in LA, so she's great, but there's an element that when you do this kind of thing, you want effusive love and compliments because you're feeling vulnerable.
Yeah.
And Chris Cafaro, our friend, he was the one I brought backstage.
Yeah.
And he knows very empathetically, he knows what his role is there. And it's to be like, you killed, you crushed, I'm so proud, just effusive. And I was very thankful to have him, he just moved to LA, so it worked out perfectly. But for him to do that, it was like, you are the buddy to have.
Yeah, he really is.
What's your blessing?
Mine's gonna sound shitty after what you just said. My mother-in-law got us a TV for Christmas. It's really not. It's like, it's huge. It's takes up the entire wall of our apartment, and I'm obsessed with it.
It's huge. It's
huge.
really that big.
Well, yeah.
I have to see it.
If it's 85
excited.
inches.
What? How much?
85 inches.
What?
Yeah.
look.
It's not hanging up yet.
Oh, wow.
How many Gianmarco dicks?
8. You got 8.
Oh, my God.
So it's getting hung today on the wall.
Oh, it's getting hung?
We had to get
It's getting hung?
We had to hire a professional. It's like it's a 120-pound TV.
What?
So
Do you have room for that?
everyone says that.
Because if you think about it, an 85-inch TV is the same as you putting your phone here. That's what I think. Just put your couch next to a small TV and you have a big
let me tell
TV.
you, it's been on the floor this week, and I'm obsessed with it. It feels like a movie theater.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't feel like I'm too close. It'll be higher, so it'll be like, but basically there was nothing on that wall anyways between the mirror and the bar.
Yeah.
So you're like, might as well fill it with a TV,
Nice.
And so it's really, I love it. I haven't really gotten to watch much on it, but yeah, so
Good. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have a blessing to close us out?
And I just want to thank my people, who have been following me for a long time. And also, like, I'm building this, trying to build a kind of a following here in America. This is what I'm doing right now, like posting a little bit of clips and, like.
And you have a different account, at least on Instagram, right? You have like the English account and the...
Yeah.
I wish for bilingual people or multiple language, they had a way to where you could have those two accounts, but put this only for the people who speak this language and this for the people who speak that language.
Yeah, I don't post my English stuff
Yeah.
in my Brazilian account.
Yeah.
Because, you know what's crazy? This is the problem that I'm facing right now. I love my people. My people is very engaging to my content, okay? They always comment, they always like, they always share. And when they do that, they show to the algorithm that this is a Brazilian content.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help me.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
They want to help me. And I cannot say, don't share this thing.
Uh-huh.
They get on their feed in every social media, and by the time they get to my content, it becomes a Brazilian content. I have a problem that nobody else in the world has,
Yeah.
which is people engage with my content and kill the distribution.
Yeah.
So I'm having talks with the TikTok people, the Instagram people, the YouTube people. How can I actually build an audience here?
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful that they help me a lot. They're always involved, and they wanna see me succeeding. And every time I do something that I consider it's a landmark, they always celebrate with me. And I have my family that also are following all this journey.
Yeah.
And they're like being very calm and helpful. And my kid also. If my
Yeah.
kid start to cry and tell me, come back home, Dad, I don't know what I would do, you know.
Yeah.
That would be my ex-wife and my kid, they help me a lot. And my wife that, hates New York and is here with me.
Yeah.
That's how good I am at sex.
All right, this is coming out December 20th. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Just please follow my Instagram at Rafi Comedy. That's it.
Russell, and do me a favor. When you do this plug,
Yeah.
do it with pride.
Okay. Follow my Instagram at Russell J. Daniels. And come check me out at the Dale Roth Theater doing Titanic 8 shows a week for the masses.
And go up to Russell after the show and say that you listen to the
And
downside.
say they used to
Let
the
him know.
downside. Yeah. I sent you there was like some nice fan of the downside in the comments
Yeah.
of the Seth Meyers thing, which was very, very nice.
Someone who comes on my face, they said, now that Russell's on Seth Meyers, leave the downside. Gianmarco's holding you back. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, yeah. I tried to delete it as soon as I could. Guys, I'm going to be back in New York for a spell. I'm headlining in Jacksonville, Florida, December 29th and December 30th. Silver Lining is back. We're doing all sorts of shows next year, almost twice a month. January 1st, Sesh Comedy Club. Link will be in the bio. January 15th. And then the 15th, we have a Downside Live, 10 p.m.
Woo!
It's a late night show, but let's sell it out. We'll have good guests. I'm headlining in Austin, January 6th and 7th, and Magoobies near Baltimore, January 12th, 13th, and 14th. Thank you so much for being here, Rafi.
It was a
Thank you for
pleasure.
being here, Russell. And, just when you get mugged, just give them the money.
Yeah.
Just
Just give them the money.
All the money.
This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. Downside.
You're listening to The Downside
The downside.
with Gianmarco Soresi.